709, that's Naughty Boy featuring Sam Smith with La La La. Hey, it's the Morning Cruise Control, and I'm Senior Airmen Kellen Carr. I also have a couple guests in the studio with me. I have Tech Sergeant Jessica Williams, the NCOIC of ADEP. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to have you in here. And also,
Thank you.
we have Miss Teresa Salvatore from ASAC.
Correct.
How you doing?
What does that stand for?
I have no idea. You're going to tell me.
Oh, I was going to have you guess.
Alcohol.
Beep. No, we don't go there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What is it?
Adolescent support and counseling services, but it used to be adolescent substance abuse and counseling services. So you see the difference?
I'm glad I didn't continue guessing. I'm going to tell you
No,
that right now.
we got that stigma.
It was
we got
about to
that
go
stigma
somewhere
out
else.
of there. The substance and abuse. I'm about support and services to the adolescents.
And Tech Sergeant Williams, what does ADEP stand for those who are unfamiliar, like myself, with all these crazy acronyms?
ADAPT is the Alcohol Drug Abuse Prevention and Treatment Program. So we are the military's version of substance abuse treatment. So just remember, alcohol, drugs, we're the people preventing it, and hopefully not having issues with that. But if we do, then we're going to make sure we take care of those folks too.
Obviously, with April being Alcohol Awareness Month, that is the importance of you two being in here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so what are some things that we'll talk about in this hour?
Some of the things we're going to talk about is where the ADAPT staff is going to be over the next week or so you can come out and meet us, get some information on how to be a responsible drinker. And then we're going to talk about some of those unknown facts about alcohol that are kind of those hair blowers, blow your hair back of, oh my goodness, like I didn't know that, and that actually is pretty pertinent to me. So we're going to talk about some of the things like we were discussing on the break, things that people don't know that they probably need to be aware of if they're going to make a decision about using alcohol.
And Teresa, what are you going to be covering?
Well, I'm on the prevention end. I come from the civilian sector, and I worked on recovery for years and years, and I'm really excited to be on a contract here on the prevention end and how important it is. I'm going to talk about prevention with adolescents.
All right, folks, we'll stick around. We're going to have more from the two of them, but you know what we got to do. We got to get to this music. We also have your weather and that yen rate coming up here in a moment. We'll be talking about events going on around the Kanto Plain. Here's Kobe Calais. Hold on.
She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm.
7:18, that was Mary Lambert right there with She Keeps Me Warm. Hey, it's the Morning Cruise Control. Kellen here. Also, Tech Sergeant Jessica Williams, NCOIC from ADAP. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for. I'll let her tell you. And also, Miss Teresa Salvatore from ASAC.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Now, we got to talk. April is Alcohol Awareness Month, so that's what we're here to talk about. And you guys got an event going on. And you guys, I saw you last week, or was it earlier this week?
It was last week, Friday.
Obviously, it's only Tuesday, so it was last week. I saw you at the DFAC. You guys had your little thing set up, had people walking around acting drunk and feeling silly, falling all over the place.
Well, we were using the demonstration goggles. That's always a hit. People like doing that. It's really interesting when you are completely sober to put those on and see how affected your vision and other senses. Because, it's interesting that nobody was under the influence, but those goggles mess with your equilibrium a lot, like alcohol affects your central nervous system. So we had a lot of people that were great sports, and I think walked away from that going, wow, when I'm under the influence and I'm at a 0.12, I don't realize that I'm this affected. So we did that. We had a great time, did some demonstrations on teaching people what were, actual serving sizes of alcohol. And we're going to be doing that again today over at the BX from about 11 to 1300. So during lunch hour, people coming through, just spent a few minutes just kind of giving people information of things they didn't know about alcohol so they can make better decisions when they're using.
Now, why is it that you think that you put the goggles on when you're sober and you realize, oh, I'm jacked up, I can't focus, I can't concentrate, walk this straight line. But why is it you think that when you might know the scientific reason behind it, why when you are drunk that you have this altered perception of, I'm fine?
Yeah, well, because alcohol affects your central nervous system. So that's that part of our brain that affects, senses, so all of our senses are affected, and it affects it, your perception of how things go. So if somebody's really, intoxicated, they may think they're talking completely normal, and their friends are like, man, you're slurring, you can't walk straight. They're like, no, I'm good, because you aren't aware of how affected you are by the alcohol.
Most definitely. And Teresa, I know you're working on the prevention side of it.
Yes.
Predominantly with the adolescents, is that correct?
Correct.
So what's information that you give to kids when you're talking to them about alcohol?
Well, it's interesting what you were just saying about the central nervous system stuff. I do have a little module thing that I do on the teen brain and development, which is very, very interested in it. It really ties into this. So we look at the adults, and adults are looking at cause and effect, and their brain is developed more. They're looking about thinking and planning, where the adolescents, it's different. You're still developing really till 24, 26 and stuff, and I'm dealing with it. And believe it or not, and I know that's called adulthood here, but your brain is still developing. But all they're looking at is feelings and drama. And so it's a whole different concept of stuff. So you could imagine how alcohol and drugs play into that on the brain. So I'm glad that you mentioned that and the differences between adolescents and adults.
Most definitely. We're going to be talking some more about statistics and whatnot and more prevention stuff here in a moment. So make sure you stick around, folks. We got your weather and your yen rate coming right up.
Here's your weather.
All right, let's take a look outside of our Eagle 810 studio. It's currently 55 degrees. Today you can expect cloudy skies with a chance of rain. Today's highs are going to be in the mid-60s. Tonight, cloudy skies with a chance of rain. Tonight's lows are going to drop down to the upper 40s. And tomorrow, sunny skies. Tomorrow's highs are going to be in the upper 60s, with tomorrow's lows in the mid-40s. Today's exchange rate is 100 yen to the U.S. dollar, courtesy of Community Bank. It's now 7:23. Just want to remind you, the Air Force Club Scholarship Program, the deadline has been extended to Friday, April the 25th. All you got to do is go to myairforcelife.com, and you can earn $1,000 for college by applying for the Air Force Club Scholarship. Stick around. We're going to have more from Tech Sergeant Williams from ADEP and Miss Teresa Salvatore from ASAC here in a moment. But first, Counting Crows, Accidentally in Love. 7:32. We're back here in the Eagle 810 studio. Kellen and also Tech Sergeant Jessica Williams and Miss Teresa Salvatore. We've been talking about alcohol awareness. And again, we got the event going on today at the BX.
Yep, we'll be out at the BX from around 11 to 1300. We'll have the goggles out there, so the alcohol simulation goggles. And then we'll have the demonstration where we have people mix your own drink with just colored water. Don't get excited.
Colored what?
Colored water.
Okay.
Picking on that accent again, Airman Carr. Watch out. But water, we'll be doing that so people can look at how much they're actually putting in as far as how much alcohol they're putting in their drinks when they're mixing it, so they have a good idea of being able to understand how do I, am I drinking more than I thought I was, and how do I be,
Are you
how am I
teaching
responsible?
them how to make a good mix?
We're teaching them how to make a responsible drink versus, one that they might have 3 or 4 servings in a drink thinking that they're only getting 1 serving. So a lot of times people get confused because they'll say drink, and when we talk about serving sizes, we're talking about the actual serving of alcohol within the drink. So people need to understand that they need to count servings, not just drinks, because you might only have 2 drinks, but if you got 10 servings between the 2 of them, you've ingested a lot of alcohol.
Now, off air, we were talking about some of the statistics that you have, and some of them are pretty crazy, pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, they think alcohol is just fun. People will say, I understand people get killed, by drunk driving accidents, things like that. But actually, over 80,000 people a year in the U.S. die from alcohol-related issues, so medical problems,
Correct.
accidents, things like that. So it is the 3rd highest killer in our country. And so a lot of people don't think about the medical side effects and other things that can come from heavy alcohol use. The other thing you and I were talking about that you were interested in is, it's interesting that people
Don't say I was interested in those.
Oh, calm down. But a lot of people don't realize how many calories are in alcohol. A lot of people will say, hey, I'm going to drink hard liquor because it's got less calories in it than a beer does. But most people don't know an average serving, so 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. So 1 serving of vodka is 223 calories. So that's for 1 serving, which is a shot. So you figure if you're drinking that and you're mixing it with orange juice and you're mixing it with 8 ounces of orange juice, that might be 152 calories right there. So you're looking at 400 calories per drink.
I think it's more of the carbs that the beer has, though. You get that bloated bubble gut feeling,
Well, if you think about it, sugar
Teresa's
turns
laughing.
into carbs, right? So there's a lot of sugar in alcohol. So if you're drinking even hard liquor, you're getting a lot of sugar content, which then your body turns that into, producing it, and you're getting a lot of empty calories in that. So a lot of people, what'll happen is when they stop drinking, so even people who are just, maybe weekend drinkers, they'll stop drinking and they'll notice that they drop a lot of weight because they're getting maybe in a night of drinking 1,200 empty calories of alcohol on top of what they already ate during the day.
Yeah, they might be.
And some,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry,
well, and
Teresa.
some eat less the more they drink and stuff. So
So they might skip that
They eat
evening
less.
meal.
Yep.
Right.
Not only that, bar food's not healthy. How many places you been where you see people having a couple drinks and eating a salad?
It,
I mean, really, right? You got like chicken fingers,
that just doesn't sound
fries.
very appetizing.
So people don't eat very healthy when they're drinking.
That's
Well,
Yeah,
I'm from
very
the Napa Valley, so we have fine food and fine wine, so you can imagine what's going on there.
Teresa, what?
All that cholesterol with the cheese.
But no, really, fine dining and fine wine with all the sugar in the wine, so you could imagine.
Well, again, Tech Sergeant Williams, before I know you're a busy woman, so before you go, again, tell people when and where you're going to be today.
So we will be over, the ADAP staff will be over at the BX today. So we'll be right out front, and then we'll also be right in the lobby. So we'll have two different places that you can come see us. So if you want to come put on the alcohol stimulation goggles, also known sometimes people call them the drunk goggles, but kind of see where you are as far as, again, how that your perception is affected when you're drinking. And then come on inside and we'll do some demonstrations and show you what are actual serving sizes and go through what would be the responsible limits for you to stay within to be healthy.
I think when you put those goggles on people, you should spin them around 3 or 4 times first, and then go ahead.
It's interesting watching people when you put them on. We have the tape so that people can kind of see if they walk straight. And so I think it's as entertaining for the people observing as it is for the people doing it, because it definitely does impair. And a lot of people actually get nauseous from wearing them because it does, the way the goggles work, it kind of throws off your equilibrium a lot. So you kind of get that realistic feeling from a sober mindset of, wow, this is a lot more, affecting than I realized.
Are you going to have the pink sober or stress balls?
Yes. We will have the famous ADAP pink stress balls out there. So if you come over and you walk the line, come in and, look at some of our booths, we definitely have some cool giveaways, too, with our contact information on it.
All right. Well, Tech Sergeant Williams, I know you got to run. Ms. Salvatore, you don't go anywhere.
Okay, I'll be here for the next one.
Talking prevention here in a moment. And again, Tech Sergeant Williams, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Airman Carr. Have a great day.
You too. It is now 7:37. We're going to go ahead and get back into the music. Don't go anywhere, though. We got more from Ms. Salvatore talking about alcohol prevention with adolescents. Here's B.O.B. and Priscilla with John Doe. And here, and also Miss Teresa Salvatore. She is from ASAC. And again, what is ASAC? We got to keep telling people because they may not have been listening earlier, Teresa.
Well, yeah, and I'm surprised at how many people don't know. So it's adolescent support and counseling services. I'm located over at the schools. I serve the high school and getting into the middle school, too, on some presentations on different aspects and stuff. But that's what I'm there. In a nutshell, I'm just there to help navigate the teen years and everything that comes with that, and that can include alcohol.
All right. And so what is some of the information that you're wanting to get out to us today?
Well, I really work on, as I said earlier, I came from the recovery and in the civilian sector, and I'm really excited about this contract because I really work on the prevention side, which is, if more money was pumped into prevention, I really think it's the key. Prevention works and stuff, and it's kind of working more upstream, so to speak, and working where the start of things happen, and instead of working at the lower end. Hey, let me give you something. Let me give you a question.
Okay, give me a question.
Okay, so our famous war on drugs, right?
Of course.
So are we winning?
Are we winning the war on drugs?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You want me to?
Yeah, what do you think?
No.
No. Good. Right answer. No, we're not. We're not. And a lot of that, if we have to look at the system and how we've worked, and if the system isn't working, then it needs to change. And that I'm getting right back to the recovery part versus the prevention end on working with people and stuff. And the prevention, I think, is the key, and hopefully that will help. But I want to give you just one quick stat that I always remember in my schooling and stuff that really always got me. So no, we're not winning the war on drugs. The drug industry is huge, obviously, and stuff. So what do you think is the 7th largest industry in the U.S.?
The 7th largest industry
in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Just take a guess.
It's probably drug trafficking.
Yeah, it's cocaine trafficking. So it's huge and stuff. So I just want to put that out there and stuff. But I want to get more onto the prevention end on what I'm working with in the schools. So what I really work with is with students is again, I'm support and services, and that's just isn't just with alcohol and drugs. It's with everything, and a lot of it, most of the stuff I do is with emotional support and services. So I really want to put that out there. But what I look at is a lot of the risk and protective factors with the students that come in and stuff. I really look and assess their school environment and their community, how they're doing in there. If it, it could be academic performance and all that kind of stuff. I look at them individually and how they are with their peers and how they think individually and how they deal with anger or frustration and all this kind of stuff, and where they're at, their close friendships. And then I really look at the family setting. These are the 3 big things that students are involved with and stuff, and how that's going on. Do they know the clear expectations and rules at home? And in their home, is it clear? Are they supervised? Are they monitored? How much is alcohol or drugs in their home and stuff, and that they're seeing that's going on and stuff? How much access do they have? So I really look at is it a risk on where they're at and on these categories, or is it a protective factor? Because it can work both ways. What percentage of their friends use alcohol and drugs? That's a big one. So I look at all those things and assess it and stuff, and I really come from a strengths perspective outline. That's where I work on solution-focused therapy and stuff, but I work on their strengths, and I pull their strengths of, hey, you're doing good in this. We've gone over all these things that you're doing really good in. How can that work on your challenges? And I have a challenge, a risk in this area in here. How can we use those strengths and how well you're doing in these areas to pull on these challenges and stuff? And everybody has strengths. I know you have tons of them, and we could go over them on air, but and I do too. And everybody out there has all these strengths, and I think we forget about them a lot of times. And I'm there to help remind and pull on them. To help people.
And so with the behavioral things you're talking about and the things going on at home, obviously that goes, you're saying that goes pretty closely hand in hand with those who end up abusing alcohol and drugs.
Right. It can, if you could look at it in the home and stuff, what's the environment they're in. If it's acceptable, if it's accessible to them as well and stuff, and how that's going.
What about for those though that they didn't grow up in a home like that? I mean, you have the old
right.
like the old preacher's daughter kind of thing. They go to college and they just kind of lose their mind. They get to experimenting things that they were never exposed to. I mean, how often? What did the percentages say about that?
Well, so the percentages and stuff. I didn't bring a bunch of stats on the percentage and stuff, but the years of adolescence and up through college, and like I was talking about the teen brain development and stuff, really goes to 24, 26 and stuff. That's an age of experimenting, learning, and sometimes there can be a oops that happens and stuff, but a lot of people can learn on it, and how they learn on it more easily sometimes is from the past history and the environment that they grew up in. So everybody has a oops, or no one's perfect and stuff, but sometimes recovery is very quick if they grew up in an atmosphere.
So you're saying that they've since they grew up in a different lifestyle where they weren't exposed to that kind of stuff, maybe the ones who they did abuse, they suddenly are like, okay, this is not me. This is not how I grew up. And they're able to get over that and overcome it much quicker. Right,
and because they had that protective factor as a child and stuff and growing up and stuff, so that's a good one.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And some can grow up, there's an example we always used in school. Some can grow up to a bowl of Cheerios in the morning when they come, and others can grow up to seeing something else in the morning when they grow up before they go to school and stuff. So there's all these type of things that I look at and stuff, and then I talk about change and work with change and motivation towards change, and look if they have the opportunity, if they have the capacity, if they have the motivation for something to change, and where they're at on it, and we do little scales and work on skills.
All right. Well, Teresa, before I let you go, how can people get a hold of you if they want to get in contact with you and work with the ASAC program?
Well, I'm at my office is located at the high school. I didn't bring my phone number, but I'm at teresa.salvatore at pactodia.edu. But I'm at the high school. Any students can walk in. I get referrals from everywhere. I get them from parents, the school, and the best referrals I get a lot from self. Which is great. A lot of people just walk in and want services, or their peers say, hey, I think my friend needs help. But I want to really iterate. I'm there for all things, peer navigation. So it just isn't alcohol and drugs. I'm there for a lot of the stuff I serve is emotional support.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Well, Teresa, we do appreciate you coming in this morning, and thank you very much for all the great information that you gave us today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks, stick around. We got your weather, yin rate, and One Direction on the way.
Here's your weather.
All right, let's take a look outside of our Eagle 810 studio. It's currently 55 degrees. Today you can expect cloudy skies with a chance of rain. Today's highs are going to be in the mid-60s. Tonight, cloudy skies and a chance for more rain. Tonight's lows are going to drop down to the upper 40s. Tomorrow, though, sunny skies. Tomorrow's highs are going to be in the upper 60s, with tomorrow's lows in the mid-40s. Today's exchange rate is 100 yen to the U.S. dollar, courtesy of Community Bank. 7:54, we're going to keep things rolling here on the Cruise Control. Here's One Direction, Story of My Life. 7:58, the story of my life. That's kind of how I feel every morning. Hey, we're keeping things moving, though. Our 7 o'clock hour is wrapping up. That means we have 2 hours left in the show, and next hour kicks off our Power Hour with Power Zone Ricky. He'll be giving away a $25 exchange gift card, talking new release DVDs, sales, and so much more. But you got to stick around for all of that. Here's Ingrid Michaelson with The Way I Am. Your AP Radio News is up next.